President Biden is set to unveil his budget proposal today, which will reveal his plans on the billionaire tax, Medicare, and Social Security. For more, let's check in with Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman. Rick.
Hey, guys. Well, I think Julie nailed it before when she said Biden's budget is not anything that's actually likely to pass Congress. It's going to be pretty familiar to anybody who paid attention to Biden's Build Back Better plan when he first got elected. A lot of those items are in this budget as well. More social programs, free community college, expand the child tax credit, raise taxes on businesses, and raise taxes on top earners. Now, none of that has any chance of passing because Republicans control the House of Representatives. And let's remember that even Democrats couldn't pass most of those items when they controlled both houses of Congress. But in another sense, this budget is important because it sort of begins the process of Democrats and Republicans figuring out how we're going to get to the point of raising the debt ceiling when there's no choice, which will come at some point in the middle or the end of the summer. So the way this works is first Biden releases his budget, then Republicans release their budget, which is going to be very different. It's going to call for tons of spending cuts, probably in Medicaid and programs for the poor. And now they have that. Those are sort of the framing points. We've got one parameter and the other parameter, and that's where the negotiations start inside of those two parameters. So perhaps this will get us to the point where we can raise the debt ceiling and stop worrying about that. But it's going to still be several months before that happens.
Yeah, and of course, we talked to Maya McGinnis for the Center for Responsible Federal Budget yesterday, and she said the two things shouldn't even be related. But unfortunately, we live in the world of is, not should, But do we have any idea the areas where there could be some agreement? I mean, it seems like a 25% billionaires tax is not that place, but maybe there are some others.
Right. So I think the essential question is, how do we get to the point where there is something that looks like a compromise that that the Republicans can sign off on and say, OK, good enough. We agree to raise the borrowing limit. That probably is going to look like very modest spending cuts that will at least let Republicans say we got some spending cuts. There could be another way out, which is let's establish a commission that is going to look at possible big spending cuts in the future. And then there are legislative maneuvers which might allow Democrats who just want to get this whole thing over with and raise the borrowing limit and stop worrying about it to get that done. So there are a bunch of different ways this could go. And unfortunately, this is going to go down to the wire because Republicans have just dug in their heels. And they, the way these things go is you think you don't have maximum leverage until you're about to cause maximum damage. So they're going to be a white knuckle moment here, probably again midsummer, late summer, and good chance we will get to raising the borrowing limit and get past that, but not a certainty.
And we've talked about this before, but just to remind folks, Rick, what do the markets tend to do as we get closer and closer to this debt ceiling limit without that agreement?
The template for this is what happened in 2011. When we literally went down to hours before the Treasury Department would be unable to pay some of its bills. And what we saw then was markets started to get shaky about 3 to 4 weeks before that deadline. And the S&P 500, I don't have the exact numbers in my head at the moment, but it came down something like 15% leading into that debt ceiling showdown. And then Standard & Poor's cut the U.S. credit rating for the first time ever by one notch. And stocks took 6 months to get back to where they were before the whole thing happened. So that is perhaps, the worst case scenario would be an actual default on U.S. debt. So assuming that doesn't happen, the worst case scenario is probably what happened in 2011, which is a significant drawdown in stocks leading up to the actual deadline, and then a period of months before stocks ever bounce back.
Yeah, it was a big decline. I remember it well. So hopefully we don't get a repeat of that, to your point. Rick Newman, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys.